Apex Legends Mobile in 2025? Could this game be coming back? I have a lot of news and speculation that we're going to talk about today, and I'm very optimistic that this game is going to come back, potentially even as early as 2025. In my personal opinion, I think Apex Legends Mobile was one of the best mobile shooting games ever created. I know a lot of people have very varying opinions. Some people loved the game and played it every single day. Some people absolutely despised it and deleted it the second they downloaded it. But you can't deny, when you look at gameplay of this game in 2025, it was top-notch and way ahead of its time. Back when it first released in 2022, there was like no other game you could even compare it to because the graphics were just insane. It literally felt like a full-on PC game for your phone, and it was just absolutely incredible. Not only that, the gameplay mechanics were all the way there as well. It was so complex and fluid and played so well on a wide variety of different devices. It rivaled games like Call of Duty Mobile and PUBG Mobile. I think it was better than Warzone Mobile when that game came out, and it rivaled games like Arena Breakout and Delta Force right now in 2025. In my personal opinion, I think Apex Legends Mobile was shut down far too soon. EA did not realize the game's full potential, and they just decided to quit early before they actually figured everything out. They decided to shut down the game on May 1st of 2023. They basically said that they didn't really deliver on their promises to the players. They had a lot of expectations that were not met and stuff like that, and they just decided to shut down the game because it didn't really meet the quality standards that they wanted. And while that is true, you know, they didn't really have good communication with the players. I remember watching videos from many other YouTubers complaining that, like, they wanted things added to the game and then they did the completely wrong thing. That is true. They didn't really listen to the players, but that doesn't mean you just entirely shut down the game, you know? Maybe you take the game offline for a few months and you reevaluate. Because if you truly thought the game would be successful when you first released it, why would you just completely give up? I don't really understand that thought process. So what I think they probably should have done back in May of 2023 when they realized that, like, things were not working out, they should have taken the game offline for a few months, talked to the players, did internal testing, talked to the YouTubers that were very in tune with the game that played for hours at a time every single day, and really saw what needed to be added to the game to make it successful. And then they could have re-released the game and had a much better time. Because that game, you know, if it did actually follow what the players wanted, it could have easily been one of the best and most successful mobile shooting games, even right now in 2025. Now, that's not what we're going to be talking about today. I'm going to be talking about my speculations of how the game is going to be coming back. But before we do that, I do want to talk about some different versions of the game that you can play right now if you want to. One of the game development companies that really did realize the full potential of Apex Legends Mobile is Tencent. Tencent, the Chinese company that actually played a big part in the development of Apex Legends Mobile, the original version of the game. They obviously had some rights to maybe the gameplay mechanics, some of the different graphics and other stuff like that. So when EA decided to shut the game down in 2023, Tencent was obviously not very happy, and they re-released the game a few months later under their own name. They called it High Energy Heroes, and that's a version of the game that you can play right now if you want to. It's all in Chinese, which is a little unfortunate, and you're going to need a WeChat account or a QQ account to be able to log in, which is going to prevent a lot of people from being able to play the game. There are ways you can get a WeChat. You know, you can just go to Fiverr, for instance, and pay a couple of dollars. Somebody can give you a WeChat account to log into the game, so it's not really that big of a deal. But yeah, that version of the game is very similar to Apex Legends Mobile, aside from, you know, different legends, a different map layout, and stuff like that. Like, the graphics are basically exactly the same. The gameplay mechanics are basically the same. A lot of the legends in High Energy Heroes are basically the same types of legends, just reskinned from Apex Legends Mobile. And it's a great game. I've played it before. I really enjoyed it. Another version of the game that you can play right now, if you want to play an English version of the game, is the PC version via cloud gaming or emulating. I've talked about this a lot recently, but if you have a powerful enough device and a good enough internet connection, you can download a lot of different cloud gaming apps. There's many different ones out there on both iOS and Android. And what you do is you like watch a few ads, and then you get an amount of time that you can play the game. You know, maybe you watch one ad, you get 10 minutes of play time. So you want to play the game for 2 hours, you got to watch like 12 ads, something like that. Then you can play the PC version on your phone. And as long as you have a good internet connection, it can be a really, really fun time because you're basically streaming the game from some computer somewhere directly onto your phone. If you want to emulate the game, it's a little bit more complicated. You can do it on iOS. I think if you jailbreak your phone, there might be 1 or 2 apps out there, but it's a lot more complicated on iOS devices. On Android, it's a little bit simpler. There are emulators out there that you can download, and as long as you've paid for the PC version on your computer, what you can do is you can get Steam on the emulator and then download it directly to your phone and play it emulated. But you're going to need a very, very powerful phone to be able to run that game. You cannot run that on a standard Android device, all right? You need to literally have like the top-of-the-line Samsung or Oppo or OnePlus, stuff like that. So there are 2 different versions of the game that you can play right now in 2025, but what I want to do is talk about my speculations that the real game is going to be coming back sooner than we might think. There have been various different interviews with the CEO of EA over the past year or so, and in one of them, he literally said that EA could reimagine Apex Legends for mobile at some point, but integrate it better into the console and PC title next time. And as he directly says, as we look into the mobile market, the biggest new launches that are seeing the most success are the ones that are deeply connected to the broader franchise, where there's not always cross-play, but there's certainly cross-progression and a feeling that they're part of a single unified community and a single unified game experience. And so, as we think about that for the future, that will be very, very important as we reimagine Apex Mobile. Now, there's a lot of things to unpack there, but to me, immediately when I read something like that, I get the, overall thought process that he is actually very optimistic that this game is going to come back. He's not, saying this in the type of manner that he's just kind of throwing something out there. He's saying things like, as we reimagine Apex Mobile, and he's saying next time. He's very optimistic, and he really does think that this game is going to come back. So obviously, there must be something that he knows that he's not sharing to the public yet. Maybe they're already working on a different version of Apex Legends Mobile. We don't really know what's happening internally until somebody out there decides to leak something. But this is something that I have speculated for years at this point in time, ever since May 1st, 2023, when the game got shut down. I found it very, very hard to believe that they would just completely abandon the game and never come back to it, right? Same thing with Battlefield Mobile. That's another EA game. They shut down that game before they even fully released it, but I don't think that game is just completely gone for good. I think they're going to come back with that game as well, but it's going to be completely different than the version that we saw back in 2022 and 2023. For Apex Legends Mobile, I really do think they're going to focus a lot more on the crossplay and cross-progression. I guess they didn't really focus on that enough with the version that we played back a couple of years ago. And as they've seen the success of other developers, for instance, with games like Warzone Mobile, what are the other games? Warframe Mobile, even Fortnite, that was many years ago. I don't know why they didn't see that one earlier on. But as more and more mobile games are coming out, and they have some sort of crossplay or cross-progression, and it actually works, and the players like it, and it, is a completely seamless experience, they might decide to actually do that for their own game, right? Maybe a bunch of other EA games don't have that type of thing, and maybe EA has been very cautious compared to some of the other companies out there, and maybe they're finally deciding to take the plunge and add some sort of cross-play, cross-progression to their future mobile games. And another thing, the PC and console versions of Apex Legends are adding more and more content from the mobile version of the game, so there's been a lot of good content that's been added from the mobile version to these other versions of the game, and I don't think they're just going to completely forget about the mobile version if they've already added those things into the other versions of the game. So I think that's what's going to end up happening. They're going to release a new version of Apex Legends Mobile. It's honestly going to be very similar to the version that we already have had, because the version that we already had was pretty similar to the PC version. It's not like Battlefield Mobile, which will just be completely different. And then they're going to have some sort of cross-play or cross-progression. Maybe both, maybe one or the other, but they're certainly going to have one of those two things to make it a more seamless transition between PC, console, and mobile. That's the whole thing he's saying there. He wants the game to be deeply connected to the broader franchise, and you really feel like you're part of a single unified community, right? You're not going to sit there and talk to people and say, oh, I play Apex Legends Mobile, and then people are going to be like, oh, so you play a completely different game. No. People can just say, I play Apex Legends. That's it, right? And it doesn't matter if you're playing on mobile or console or PC. That's what it's going to be called. I bet you when the game comes out, it's not even going to have the word mobile after it in the Google Play Store and the App Store. You're going to download the game, and it's literally just going to say Apex Legends. That's it, because that's how similar it's going to be to the PC and console versions of the game. So I really don't think they're just completely giving up on the game. I think they should have done this before. What they really should have done is just taken a look at games like Fortnite Mobile and seen how successful that game was, and then added some sort of cross-play or cross-progression. But it looks like the CEO is not completely giving up with the game, and he's going to try again. And I'm very optimistic that it's going to be a version that we can play pretty soon, because it's not going to take the same route that like High Energy Heroes is doing, where they're doing only gameplay in China, because Tencent already has High Energy Heroes. They can play that game in China. So what I would assume is whenever EA decides to release Apex Legends in some sort of alpha or beta test, they're not even going to do a test in China. It's going to be somewhere outside of China, and we're going to be able to play it immediately as long as we have a VPN and we can connect to that other country. So I'm hoping that's going to be by the end of this year. It's entirely possible. If this interview was already about a year old and there's been other interviews where he's already talked about, you know, Apex Legends Mobile coming back from over a year ago, then I think they've been working on it. And we might get some sort of announcement sooner than we think. We just have to stay tuned for that. And I'm very optimistic. So I guess to everybody that's watching this video, don't be too bent out of shape. I understand it's been hard for the past couple of years not being able to play Apex Legends on mobile. If you want to play a version of the game right now, you can play High Energy Heroes. You can play a cloud version of Apex PC. You can play an emulated version of Apex PC. But I would say probably the best one is going to be High Energy Heroes. The emulated and cloud versions are a little bit more difficult to run on a wide variety of different devices, but just be patient. Wait a few more months, and we might have some sort of alpha or beta version that we can play of Apex Legends on mobile once again. So let me know what you guys thought about Apex Legends Mobile, your original opinions on the game when it first came out, and let me know what you guys think about this future version of the game coming out at some point. Do you agree with what I have to say? I mean, I would assume most people would, because there's literal evidence right there of the CEO talking about the game coming back next time, using words like that. So, like, he knows it's going to come back. He's saying that it's going to come back, just in a different phrasing, and it's only a matter of time. So let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. I'd love to have a discussion with you guys. Hope you guys did enjoy. Leave a like if you did. Subscribe for more mobile gaming content just like this, and I will see you all in the next episode.